Hello and welcome to the Gongsmen YouTube channel. On this channel, we talk about Africa, politics, innovation, business, and a whole lot of other things. Today, we are going to be speaking about the Ghanaian election. This episode is entitled Ghana's Election Matters Arising, a special focus on Dr. Bawumia. My name is Isaac, and
my name is Bright.
Nice. How's your week been?
The week it was good though, until the speech started coming in and it wasn't really speeching. That's where Charlie. But it's all right. We lived through it. All
right. Cool. So we know that some of our audience may not be Ghanaian. We will try to provide some background on what we are talking about, why we are even talking about it, right? So that we carry everybody along. So just for context, right? 2024 is a big election year. According to Time Magazine, there are 64 elections happening across the globe. That is a lot of that's a lot of elections.
Yeah.
I suppose that's and there are some big countries that I think Pakistan, India might also be going to. There's a lot of people that are going to elect new leaders.
So the world is selecting
new leaders, okay. And we're going to be seeing what's going to be happening across the board. But we're from Ghana, right? And the two leading parties have elected their candidates. Mm-hmm. On the NDC opposition side is John Mahama, who is a former president, and Dr. Akuffo-Addo-Bawumia, who is the current vice president, vying on to be
Bawumias.
Bawumias, as some people like to call him. So they are the two leading candidates. Dr. Bawumia gave a speech about his vision, right? He gave an account of where the government has taken the country from, when they took it from President Mahama, and where they have moved it to, and where he sees the country going to with him at the helm of affairs.
Right.
But for our audience who do not know who these two men are, we just wanted to give a brief on them. Mm-hmm. Who is John Mahama?
JM.
What's your GM?
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I think he's a politician. He's been into Ghana's politics for I think quite some time now. Yeah. Right? He started as an MP.
I think he was even an assemblyman or something.
Yeah. So he started as an MP, did good work, I suppose. Became minister. Communications minister. You have to give it to him though. He is a good communicator, right? Yeah. So he does a good job with that. Fast forward, he becomes vice president
in 2009.
Mm-hmm. To the late Prof. John Mills.
Yeah.
So that happened. Prof. Mills unfortunately passed away along the last few months. Yeah,
towards the end of the term.
The end, so he passed, and then John Dramani Mahama, as the constitution required, became president.
Yes.
So from that short period, people thought, well, this guy is kind of impressive as vice president.
Some part of it was sympathy votes.
Yeah, he becomes president, and then so people were like, well, let's give him a chance to see what he can do. So we vote him into office for the following 4 years.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, after the 4-year term, Ghanaians were not too happy with, what he did. And so he got booted out.
Yes.
So that's kind of where things are at. But he is a strong force in the opposition party. For sure.
Yes. And the person whose speech we are going to be examining on this episode, Dr. Bawumia. Bawizi. So Bawumia came into Ghana's politics somewhere around 2008. Before that, he was deputy governor at the Bank of Ghana.
Right.
He got brought into our politics by the current president, Nana Akuffo-Addo, who selected him as his running mate in 2008. They weren't successful. They tried again in 2012. They weren't successful. 2016, they were successful. They booted out Mahama, and Bawumia has been our vice president since that time. So 2016 up until 2024, 8 years in power as vice president. That's his record that we are going to
display. And let the records also show that Dr. Bawumia has been touted as the economic messiah. He has I think his doctorate is in economics, right?
I think so.
But he is, at the Bank of Ghana, I think he did good work there.
Yeah.
So coming into the government, even the president actually said, he brought him on.
That was the main reason why he was bringing the guy.
solve our economic dilemmas. But the rest they say is history. We'll find out. So that's like a quick background on the two candidates.
Okay, so Bawumia's speech, Dr. Bawumia's speech, which he gave on the February 8th, is titled Ghana's Next Chapter, Selfless Leadership and Bold Solutions for the Future. Selfless Leadership and Bold Solutions for the Future. What do you make of the title?
I don't think so far we've seen selfless leadership.
Oh.
No, this is, I mean, yes,
you could make across the board. On
average, right? I think folks, people like John Akuffo-Addo-Bawumia, right? To some extent, you could consider, he did well, right? Yeah. Selfless leadership is something that I think it's too strong a statement, right?
Okay.
Now, bold initiatives for the future, right? There's a fine line between, it's good to be bold.
Yeah.
My brother, I think it's good to be bold.
We need to be bold.
Yes, but you have to be bold about the right things.
Yep.
Right? So I guess the viewers, after you go through the details, if you haven't read the speech yourself, or if you have read it, let us know whether you think this is the good kind of bold or the not so good kind of bold.
Okay.
You have to ask on that.
So, getting into the speech, he starts off the speech talking about, their record, right? Their record, he does some gymnastics there, comparing their record in economic terms to the previous government.
Right.
And then he goes on to talk about what they have achieved, their success, what he deems as their success. That's the success of the MPP. And then goes on to talk about his own vision for the future. So that's the same way that we are going to go through the speech. We're going to look at what he says are the records versus the NDC. Maybe not delve too much into it because we have our own issues as to how he's picking some of the figures and doing some
massaging the numbers and the graphs, different axes.
But anyway, let's actually go into what he considers his successes, right? So the first one would be digitalization. The digital man.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you consider, or based on the speech, what do you think he was trying to communicate as the successes that they've shown on the front of digitalization?
Yeah, I think, so the digitalization agenda, right, starts with, so he starts by saying, well, my office was really in charge of the digitalization stuff, right?
Okay.
My office oversaw this digitalization stuff, right? And then he starts off with, we introduced, we actually made Ghana card work, right? Because,
it was there before.
Previous governments had started, things here and there, possibly. But he made it, there, like, Ghanaians now have Ghana cards, at least in large quantities, right? A good number of Ghanaians do have it. So in his analysis, he says, okay, my office oversaw this initiative. We have the Ghana card, right? Great. Now, we also launched other critical, services to go with that. So one is that once we have the Ghana card, we can uniquely identify people, right?
Yeah.
Now, we also launched like a digital address system.
Yes.
Right? Which means that every
person,
on
the Ghana card.
Yes, every person, every property can be identified.
The land,
right? And then he goes on to say, well, not only that, we have launched like some online services.
Yes, which the Ghana card is facilitating.
Yes. So he adds an example of, say, passport application.
Yeah.
Right? So he's saying, if you want to apply for passports right now in Ghana, 24 hours a day, 24/7. You just go onto your laptop, you will fill the application, and because we know your digital address, right? The passport is ready, we will send it to you.
Okay.
So that is success.
Why? You have a problem with that?
I do. I do have a problem with that. In fact, I have problems with that.
Is it not working the way he's saying it?
That's where the problem is.
The problem is
what he described. So maybe let me put on my seriousness hat a little, right? So what he described, hypothetically makes sense, right? You want to go online, maybe apply for your passport, and then you probably pay the fees online, right? This shouldn't be so hard in the age of AI and everything, right?
Yes.
And
you don't even need AI for
exactly.
it. AI is
we have. So you fill the form, you pay, you put in your digital address, right? Once it's ready, it gets delivered to you.
Yes.
Maybe they told you it will take 2 weeks, 1 month, however long they told you, you get it. Now that is what real success to me is. That as I did here like this now, I can go online, I fill the form, I pay Momo. Do you get it?
Yeah.
They tell me, oh, right, you go get them 2 weeks sharp. 2 weeks, it don't drop.
Okay.
That is success. And you see, that's the kind of success ordinary Ghanaian on the street will feel it.
Will attest to.
Do you get it? You don't even have to come and say it.
Yes.
I'm telling you, my brother, if you try to get a passport now, hey.
But won't you go? You've tried it before.
It's not. That's what I'm telling you.
Me, I haven't tried. The last time I got a passport, it wasn't in Ghana.
Okay.
But I got it like it didn't. That system did not really apply. I still had to go to the office and get all of my stuff taken.
Exactly my point. The reality on the ground now is that you have to still, after you apply, you have to still go to the passport office, go and queue up to have your photo taken, your biometrics, everything, right? And then even with that, let's face it, even with that, if they tell you 2 weeks, my brother, it might take 2 months. So in conclusion on this, right, the point I'm making is that in his mind, this is the flow. Apply online, pay online, get it delivered to you. The reality is apply online, go to the office, take a picture, maybe call a guru boy, you get it, go back, get another appointment. It might take months, and then when it's ready, they still have to call you that it's ready. Come and take it. So
it's not
those solutions have not solved those problems.
And just the mere fact that a website has been built to collect the data from you it doesn't amount to very great success. But Charlie, that was easy.
Well, the thing is that we have to, and I think the leaders, Charlie, in this country, we have to be serious, right? The solutions in theory make sense, right? So we just have to make it end to end, right? Also, I add in 2 months or 2 weeks, right? If somebody applies, they will get it after 2 weeks. How many people have you employed on staff to ensure, say, when these applications come in, you have enough capacity to process them? What tracking mechanism do you have in place to ensure that those people you have employed are actually working on the cases?
And the flow
right?
is good.
Yes. Do you have data? So a data man, right? Is a data and analytics man. So what data is there to show, say, on average, how many, not even on average, like this one, if you promise 2 weeks, deliver it 2 weeks, right? How many people actually apply? And then get it in the estimated or stipulated amount of time. Charlie, not the work. So I won't count it as success, but we build stuff,
Okay. But that one thing you also mentioned was mobile money interoperability. As for that one, I think I'll give it to him. Right? You can send money from one network to the other very seamlessly to the banks, and even from the bank to the mobile money. You can even buy credits and stuff. I think that one there.
Yes, I'll give them that. I will give them that. And you see, the thing is that, when with the mobile money interoperability, right? You see what really happened. The government is just enabling the businesses
and
to make it work, right? And that's how it's supposed to be. So the government's job is not to set up factories and stuff. We know that government is not efficient. But I will talk. You see, the government doesn't have to set up factories, right? They have to create that enabling environment. Some critical infrastructure that we need as a country. They should invest in those. Then the private sector will take it.
So what about Zipline?
I think Zipline is good. So first, the idea is good, right? I've also seen a video where
is it working in practice? Like how it's supposed to
I think it's, I don't know if it's
definitely something we can improve on.
I think so. But see, when I saw that video of Charlie, some pregnant woman, she needed blood, and then Zipline got delivered and stuff. I think that, once we save lives, I'll give it to them. That's good.
Okay, so how about FreeSHS? Did the speech really delve into it? I didn't really see.
FreeSHS.
He didn't really go into that much.
Oh yeah, of course. And we all know why.
The flagship policy of the government. So I would have thought that they would go. FreeSHS, by the way, is free senior high school. So people after junior high school, which is free, if you go to a public school, you can then go to the senior high school for free. Apparently free.
Yeah. See, FreeSHS, he did well dodge. He didn't really go into details about it, aside saying towards the end that when he comes in, he'll review it and improve upon it, right? We all know that the FreeSHS idea, again, another idea that sounded good on paper, right? But then we didn't ask the important questions, and now we struggled through it, right? And we are still probably struggling through it.
Yeah.
Then they were dodged.
Okay, how about jobs and infrastructure? For the jobs, they said they've created 2.1 million jobs.
Yeah, but what are the jobs?
But then people have
like, that's the question.
Please, if you have some of the jobs, please let us know.
Please, we are looking for work.
we know that the established NAPCO, Nation Builders Corps, which I don't know what that program was about, but initially they said they employed 100,000 graduates into like 5 different modules about informed Ghana, whatever. It was, I don't know.
Last, what happened was that it was a massive campaign that just ended up being a waste of money and time.
And then they had to scrap it.
You know, and the thing is, why should government go into these like massive programs, right? Hiring sprees, when we already know, say, Masa, public service sector nankasano.
They come up with all these programs.
Yeah, it's a waste of money.
This and that.
Yes.
And it doesn't really move the needle anyway.
Yes.
It becomes something that party people hijack. People are putting their constituency members. It becomes a whole.
I mean, think about
that. Doesn't really achieve anything.
Yeah, think about the zip line, for instance. He actually said that the service centers are all manned by Ghanaian youth.
Yeah.
Do you get it? That actual job, what create enabling environment, you know, what I say. Actual job. Fabi to say Momo, they bring jobs, give people, Charlie.
Yeah.
Do you get it? So
there's also been reports previously where the government has said that they've created 5 million jobs. The employment minister has stated different numbers from the 2.1 million jobs that Bawumia is also saying. So first of all, there's a little bit of inconsistency with the jobs numbers, right? And then secondly, even with the 2.1 million jobs, I don't know if the impact of that is actually being felt like the way you would expect an economy where 2.1 million jobs have been great.
My brother, I know the impact is not being felt.
Anyway,
infrastructure unemployment rates now
it keeps going up,
but when you it makes sense. Of course, we are not going to sit here and make it seem like you can't have unemployment going up when you are still creating jobs, right?
But that means that the population should increase. Like the people that are coming to the workforce far outstrip the jobs that you are creating, which is
and also even this.
But 2.1 million jobs in Ghana should have been.
It depends on what you are counting as jobs, right? If you count all the jobs for the boss,
some people said, I heard they said like they planting for food a job when they give you fertilizer. It's counted as a job.
Yes, they give you that. What to do with it? You are a farmer now.
I don't know how to, but that's just by the way.
Yeah. So I mean, on a serious note, this whole 2.1 million jobs is just a statistic, right?
Yeah, it sounds very fancy.
Yes, but on the issue on the ground is what we care about. Then on this channel, the Gongsmen, we care about the common sense, the issue on the ground, right? What every Ghanaian feels, not the big grammar.
They also have Agenda 111. They are building 111 district hospitals. They said they've done about 12,000 kilometers of roads, which is higher than any other government.
I mean,
I don't know. They have had multiple years of road. They have dubbed a lot of year of roads. Me, when I went to Ghana, so the road network, I wasn't very impressed with it. There were a lot of places where it seemed like construction was going on, and because of that, the whole road was very unmotorable. So hopefully when they finish those ones, it will be good. But then there were a lot of places that I also went where I was like, but how is it that they built so many roads, but I don't really see the impact? Then again, I was in Accra for the most part, and I was in the eastern region. Maybe the road construction is going on elsewhere as well. So we don't have any way to factor. The roads ministry is what is reporting these figures. So Charlie, at the end of the day, if the ordinary people are seeing that the roads are being constructed, it will be a feather in your cap. And if you are quoting numbers and it's not reflecting on the ground, now you shall be. Can't really do anything about it. But a couple notable omissions. One flagship program of the government is One District, One Factory. I've said this. Why did he say? Or is it because Alan was the one in charge? Do you think maybe?
No.
Do you think maybe?
Now, what was there? See, what was there to talk about?
But if you have done a whole policy that there will be a factory in every district in Ghana, if you have successfully implemented it,
you see, the critical point is if you have been successful.
But they've been saying that they've been successful.
Then on my own way. They have not been successful.
They didn't mention. He didn't mention it.
Or maybe he didn't mention it. I don't think he forgot. This is how many pages?
73.
How many? He said he spent the past couple months or so putting together this speech.
73,
right?
Oh, now say you can.
They didn't forget one D, one F, one constituency, $1 million.
I don't remember him saying anything about it.
All I'm saying is that these programs have failed. And I'm sure we'll get to the part where it seemed like he was trying to distance himself from, The bottom line is that this government is notorious for jumping into like massive programs, populist programs that are usually not very well thought through, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
And then they just waste money, waste resources, and now they are too ashamed to talk about some of them.
Okay. Then the economy. Given that Bawumia was started as like this economic, whiz-kid, he knows about the economy. He was purposefully brought in from the Bank of Ghana to come and be the vice president. In fact, when he was being introduced as the vice president, apparently there was a lot of pushback from the establishment
politicians
and the MPP because he was new. Right? He stories are that he didn't even have a party card and all of that. But Nanado was very insistent that he was a guy that was going to help him on the economy. And those are backdoor communications which have leaked into the public. The veracity of which we cannot authenticate, right? But we know for sure that there have been public pronouncements. At least Nanado has made so many public pronouncements about the fact that Bawumia is there. When it comes to the economy. When he was talking about the economic record, there are two things that he did which confused me. One, he's a politician and he's going to compare himself to his opponent. But I thought that he would state boldly that they have done well with the economy. Most of his talk on the economy was to say, this is what NDC did, this is what we did, we were better than NDC. So even when the gains are marginal, we should take them like that. The other thing that he did with the economic argument was him picking and choosing statistics that favored him. So if you look at the speech, there are a lot of graphs and commentary around those graphs where when he's talking about the NDC's record, he talks about from 2013 to 2016, right? Then when he's talking about the MPP's record, he will talk about it from 2017. Depending on the statistic, he might stop at 2020. And then he will create another chart of 2017 with 2021. Mind you, just to give you background, the NDC first term was the one that Mahama was vice president of, was 2009 to 2012. Okay, then Mahama was president from 2013 to 2016. Okay. We are tired. We are tired of Ghana.
No. I'm actually a little bored with this side of the speech because he was just massaging.
When he's talking about stuff, Mahama was involved from 2009, but he conveniently ignores 2009 to 2012 because some of the best NDC economic numbers were in that period. Then he looks at 2013 to 2016 because some of the West NDC numbers were there. Now, when it comes to talking about their record, when he's talking about their first term, when he's talking about their second term, he never talks about the MPP second term in isolation. He always blends it with their first term, 2017 all the way to 2022. But he's taking only 2013, 2016 to highlight what the NDC was bad at. Then his own, he takes the good part, bad part, blends it all together and says that overall they've been good. What did you make of that?
I made nothing out of that. See, my brother, the truth of the matter is that, see, he touts himself as somebody who is big on data, evidence, right? Statistics, which is good. I'm a data person.
You're a statistician.
Yes, I'm a statistician, right? But when you start picking and choosing, nitpicking, even different dates, just to make your story look good, then you have lost every credibility with the data you're dealing with. What I say. So me, when I saw those figures and I saw that, the graph described, I didn't even pay attention to it because you are just
there was one graph where it was talking about balance of trade. And for that particular graph, I think the NDC had a bad balance of trade record from 2009 to 2012. So as for that one, he included it. But every other thing I was talking about, he started
tell the full story, right? If you are going to use data, tell the full story. But this speech, all the data he brought, none of it was. Let's talk about. No, what I mean is that most of it, fair enough. Most of it, right? I said nitpicking. For exchange rate, for instance, right? Every Ghanaian knows that it's been worse under this government.
But if you do,
but I'm on the graph now. For some reason, ungodly reason, their foreign exchange rate was somehow better.
Because he's using the rate of depreciation.
So that's how you should know, say, Masa, the Okano. It's not true.
He's using the rate. So if NDC took it from 1 cedi to 4 cedis, that's a 3.
Have you ever seen somebody go to the market, use the rates, the percentage to buy something? All that matters is that they are doing free 4 cedis or so, I will do 12 cedis. And from 1 cedi to 4 cedis, right? And then from 4 cedis to 12 cedis. You see, this is the common sense side of things.
But
this is the common sense side of things.
You are not an economist, so.
If this is what economics is about, then I'm glad I'm not.
You are not a top economist.
Then you see, this is not what economics should be about.
Economics is
what I say.
The rate of depreciation.
Economics is a science. What I say.
Bawumias.
See, all I'm saying is that he should forget about all the data. In fact, any Ghanaian that has seen the speech or the document, right, should know that a lot of those figures were just massaged to make the whole story look nice.
Says he didn't massage it. He just took away.
It's called data storytelling.
He just took away.
But all I'm saying is that exactly, but that's not honest. You have to give the full picture.
He's a politician.
On one side, he has integrity issues. I mean, he says one thing today, he'll go and say something else tomorrow.